What's up guys, I'm back again with yet another video that I am confident calling pretty good. I don't really do this very often. I know it's kind of weird. It's not a deck profile or a skit roasting an entire caricatured people group of the Yu-Gi-Oh community. Sorry. Anyway, so Called by the Grave got hit. Alright, so admittedly I was pretty upset about this hit as well. It didn't really feel like it was a necessary move to make. It felt kind of like a cheap shot, just kind of like, you know, Konami deciding this is the moment where they're going to just push for more sales and newer product. Now I know there's a lot of different theories out there. I know a lot of people are like, well, maybe that's not it. I don't know, and all of this is speculation. Nobody really knows their motive unless they were in there at that meeting or whatever, whenever they, I don't know how they decide. But after looking at it, you know, the best way I can, even stepping back and trying to be objective about it, it really logically doesn't make a ton of sense other than to push 3 tactical talents or even newer cards that might be coming later like Crossout Designator. The combo decks in the meta right now, like the top tier decks that are playing well, play right through interruptions, and a lot of them aren't even running Called by the Grave. So I don't think it's fair to say, well, that was just, you know, trying to hit the combo decks. I don't know about that. Really, who this hurt the most were budget players and rogue players that did rely on Called by the Grave to be their only line of defense against hand traps. Whether you're a meta player, a rogue player, a casual player, or maybe like a budget mix of all the above somewhere in between, this is good news for you. Called by the Grave was a placebo. It really was, and I found this out by calculating some probabilities. Now, I'm not a super genius, I'm not that great at math. I actually use this tool online and it's literally called Yu-Gi-Oh! Probability Calculator, and that's how I plug in all my numbers to see what's gonna work and what's not gonna work when I'm deck building. So I highly recommend this. So yeah, I just thought I would share that. But I calculated the probability of you seeing one of your 3 Called by the Grave in a regular 40 card deck in your opening hand of 5. And it's roughly around 30%, so it's not bad. Now right now, for the most part, people are running around 5 hand traps that are applicable to Called by the Grave, and then the other 3 would probably be imperm. So you've got 5 hand traps. When you take the probability of seeing Called by the Grave at the same time as your opponent seeing one of those, there's a 15% chance of that happening. That's not that likely. Now, before you jump into the comments and share with me your story about how one time you used Called by the Grave and it worked and it saved you your turn and you were able to combo off, I understand that that's what it's used for and that's what it does. And I also understand that 15% is not 0%. I'm not saying that it will never be useful, I'm just saying that it's maybe not as likely to be useful as we all thought. It was more like a placebo insurance policy that made us all feel safe. Really, that other 85% of the time, we were using Called by the Grave as what? Another interruption that we would set to banish something from the grave, likely an important resource, and then the cherry on top was that it negated the other effects of other cards of the same name later. So what do we do now? Now you probably either just need to throw in some more extenders, or if you're really worried about graveyard decks because, you know, Burning Abyss is back, you can throw in some other cards that are now safe from Called by the Grave that do what you were using it to do for the most part anyway, that 85% of the time, which is to either banish something from the grave or negate something in the grave. So you could throw in things like DD Crow or Skullmeister, or even if you can swing it and your deck can make this, Abyss Dweller. And now that Called by the Grave is at 1, I see some people still running it. I would not recommend that because honestly, you have about a 3 to 8% chance of that working for you. It's just not really worth running if you could put something in there that's either an extender or something that just pushes your strategy forward or plays through interruption rather than just being kind of a, well, I hope I see this one of type of thing. It's very situational one of. So yeah, I hope that helps you guys and maybe eases some pain. I'm feeling it too because, you know, it does suck to take what was seemingly our only line of defense against hand traps away. But I think if we look at the numbers here, it wasn't as good as we made it out to be. You know, it sucks because it's really the only card that did what it did all in one card, and I know that's a bummer. But again, I hope this helps, and see ya.